try to do last 1 inch up the wire. Okay, that's not a dungeon door. It's well over 100 years old. The railroad really knew how to design its buildings, and this was for storage. This big concrete structure over here is actually an elevator shaft. They had 2 large industrial-sized elevators for this building. You could fit a Volkswagen Bug in there. I wish it worked. I get really tired of hauling stuff up and down stairs around here. But 100 years ago, they had an active rail, active elevator, active everything. 100 years later, we can't get one of these things up and running to save our lives. Also, this was an area for shipping stuff around, and you see we actually have tracks in the ground. And this area had their own little subway system. So you could bring all the supplies that were in this building down the elevator, loaded onto the cars here, and they could actually be taken down here. Almost got away from you.
Not quite.
Okay, just one of them this time?
Yeah, the other one couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Good. Okay, he was my friend on the last tour, at least his other friend. Yeah. So anyhow, they could actually move stuff here using an electrified subway system. And they had overhead power to be able to run the subway right down here, all the way across the street to all the buildings you saw over there. And we'll sort of see them as we go through this tour. There was an intent at one time of having a subway tunnel going all the way to the roundhouse, and that would have gone this way, but this is as far as it goes. There was this one guy that had conspiracy theories in Scranton who said there were railroad road lines going all through Scranton. And this was like the only one that was left, and I had to tell him no, it was too difficult to make this thing and then have one running all over Scranton. So, any questions so far?
Yeah. Were those some of the cars, or?
No, those are actually just excess speeders. These are standard gauge, gasoline-powered rail cars, just like you saw up when we were walking here, yeah. And they just ended up being stored here, and it's like all the other stuff here. We got a few neat freaks in the park. They don't like junk laying around, what they consider junk, so they moved it all down here. 10 years ago, you could have played basketball or hockey or soccer down here. So that's what it is. That actually runs to an elevator, and you can actually load the car on the elevator. It takes you up to ground level, and there's recycling areas upstairs. When we get upstairs, I'll point out where the little recycling bins are. Even well over 100 years ago, the railroads were always into conserving what they had. And they weren't going to throw it away if it was worth anything. So all the scrap metal, they were able to get sorted out upstairs. And the reason they had scrap metal is if you look over there, there's a building out those windows, the erecting shops. This building connected to that building over there. So they were able to move supplies over there and excess metal out here.
Oh, you got lighting this year.
Yeah, we got a little bit better lighting, LED lighting. We have a new electrician. Now, they didn't get clearance for me to drill the holes in the historic walls that they should have, but we got lighting.
Yeah, it's not working.
But again, this is, basically an access tunnel. Well, we had the subway system came through here. Have a bunch of stuff that we salvaged off of the upper floors in this building. Windows, ladders, kitchen sink, toilets. We got a little bit of everything down here. I just haven't had time to go through it all. I keep on saying it'd be kind of interesting if we could do a Halloween tour down here, get you halfway down and turn the lights off. See how many people panic. Now when they built this in 1910, they did with the intention that there was going to be much more stuff going on here. And there's a couple areas where buildings that were never built. One of them was going to be a mine storage building, and that was going to go off here. And then there was going to be a new power plant that was going to be down here. And try not to trip.
This is not active, I assume.
No, it's not active. Now the thing is, if you had an old-fashioned electrician, we have tons of panels throughout this building that looked like that. I'd love to have somebody explain all that stuff to me.
And now into tower.
How old is this?
How old is this? This was completed about 1910, over 100 years ago.
Your great grandmother was your age.
Something to tell?
See, here's a map of this area. See, we came in this building here, and we've gone all the way underneath it, and here's a tunnel, and we're going down this way, and that's that one little area. There was a mine building that was never built, powerhouse was never built, and then it goes right from here, underneath Washington Avenue, into this building across the street. So, and this whole complex was built and maintained by the railroad as well. We're only on this little side. So, and if you were working here before the 1950s, there is this actually takes you underneath Washington Avenue. And we aren't going to go under there because we've had a little bit of swallowing concrete, as you can see. But it used to be when I started working here, they only had a little bit of a wall there. And behind there is a bunch of people that work at the plant on the other side. A lot of them are done. They don't want to have to walk up all these stairs. We have fire extinguishers, we can even document where they came from. We have film stored in those freezers. Cellulose nitrate, cellulose acetate, other types of film. We have a little bit of everything representing the railroad environment.